Something is not going right on this other side. Okay, so today we're going to talk about um, a little bit about depression and anxiety and hypnosis. There's so much misunderstanding about the topic of hypnosis, and I find that a lot of people can benefit from being educated on the benefits of it, because hypnosis has gotten a bad rap, and it's not right. It is absolutely not right. And Ericksonian hypnosis is very different than stage hypnosis, to what people usually see on movies. A lot of people are familiar with hypnosis as being part of a movie where somebody on the stage makes you cluck like a chicken. That's not what hypnosis is. That's not what hypnosis does. And I think that I talked about it before many times, that psychotherapy has developed from hypnosis. Psychoanalysis was developed from hypnosis. So what hypnosis does, especially Ericksonian hypnosis, it's very gentle and very permissive. And what basically, in to summarize this in very quick words, what hypnosis does, it helps you elevate your emotional intelligence quickest, is the quickest method to elevate your emotional intelligence. And why? Is because emotional intelligence requires you to be self-aware and requires you to regulate, down-regulate, control your emotions, and it requires you to understand and be thoughtful and respectful of other people's emotions. To summarize it, it's more complex than that, but in just a few words. So conversational hypnosis, and there's a lot of coaching that happens in hypnosis, and there's a lot of skill learning. I happen to teach clients a lot of skills in developing a self-awareness and emotional intelligence. And Ericksonian hypnosis is very, very gentle and very permissive. In hypnosis, we don't talk about something you don't want to talk. We will not. And I'm not going to ask you about what happened unless you want to tell me. And I'm not going to ask you what happened, and then what happened next, and then how'd you feel about it, and what happened next, and how'd you feel about it, and what happened next, and how'd you feel about it. I'm not going to do that. I have a lot of clients that come to me after they have done a psychotherapy, and the level of growth that we achieve is tremendous. It's tremendous, and the role of hypnotherapist, and I'm going to speak for hypnosis, and Randy can talk about his role as a psychotherapist and then his role as a hypnotherapist as well. But my role as a hypnotherapist and a coach is to respect your model of the world as it is, and not try to rearrange your model of the world. What does that mean? That means that if you're a Christian, I'm going to allow you to be Christian. I'm not going to challenge your beliefs, whether Christianity is the right religion or not. If you're a Buddhist, I'm not going to challenge whether your Buddhism is the right, whether it's better or not better than any other religion. If you're Jewish, the same. If you're brown color, the same. If you're white, I'm not going to try to change your model of the world. This is what religions do, and this is what brainwashing does, and this is what a lot of famous people that get you under their spell do, like the guy I don't want to mention his name. We talked about it last time. So by respecting your model of the world, we get to uncover your processes. It's not as much as what happened, because what happened is many years ago, and it probably lasted, let's say, one day, or a total of how many days throughout your life. And by now, you're probably 40, 50 years old. Okay, maybe 20. mm, all right, not 20, whatever, right? So the hold, the event has left an imprint on you because of the amygdala, right? And it has a hold on you, and it pulls you down. It pulls you down, and there's a lot of ruminating, thinking going back and forth that things shouldn't have happened, and whose fault is it, and I'm a victim, and all, and probably right. But the fact of the matter is that that's not happening anymore, and the difficulty, we're having difficulty um, breaking away from it, or not letting it go. But it's a complex process. We're having difficulty uh, staying away from it and not having that run in the back of my head. I'm trying to just find the more complex term, but there is no more complex term in just a five words over here. Um, because it has a hold on you, and because your processes, right? But then your processes have a lot to do with your values, your beliefs, your sorting mechanism, your meta programs, and so on, and your individual reality. So in hypnosis, you see, in psychotherapy, there's a lot of, and it has a lot of variety to it. But in psychotherapy, the events, that which troubles you is addressed, right? And it has you, and Randy's going to talk more about that because he's a licensed psychotherapist. Um, and that does not leave as much room as for your processes. How are you processing that information? Now, how are we going to understand that? Well, the way we can understand that is a desktop, a laptop, and a smartphone. They all process things differently. They all access the internet. Kind of sort of, the internet would be your subconscious. That's where you have all your stuff that you might or you might not find. And this is what hypnosis helps you get to. Like when you go online and you need to get to a place, you need to know the address to where you're going. So this is what hypnosis, it gets good with it, and is very gentle with the right professional, especially Ericksonian hypnosis, to slowly get to those blockages that have been stored in your subconscious, right? So, but the way you access internet and the features available to you on a desktop or on a laptop or on a smartphone are different. It's just different devices, and they all have a processor, and it takes you different clicks and different screens to get to whatever you need to get to by these three different objects. I'm keeping it simple because it's much more complex than this, right? So, um, so with hypnosis, especially me, so I'm going to talk about me. I'm very focused on how your processes are going, how you arrange your whys and the beliefs and the values, and what's more valuable and which beliefs hold you deeper and deeper. And once I understand these processes, then we talk about it, and then we go heal it with hypnotic suggestion. And hypnosis, people are 100% aware in hypnosis. Only at the beginning, only in the very first few sessions, they doze in and doze out. But in hypnosis, at least that Ericksonian hypnosis, you maintain your awareness at all time. If a noise happens, you're going to be out and about right away, right? I'm not interested for you to fall asleep. Or if you happen to fall asleep, you're probably being tired that day, and it's okay. We'll work with that, right? But it saddens me. It saddens me to somebody made a comment last time we talked that hypnosis is believed to be bad. I'm not going to repeat the comment. I don't want to repeat the comment. That is going to be bad. And then there's a lot of religious people, and a lot of Eastern European, I'm going to talk about my Romanian comrades, that are hesitant to take this approach to treat that depression. And that's a problem. Why? Because it's easily available, it's inexpensive, and it gets to the root of it gets to the root of the trouble quick, right? And it educates you about your processes, and it helps you understand your beliefs and your values and your sorting mechanism, your evaluation, your meta programs. Once you begin to understand that, then you begin to have more self-awareness and more self-regulating and emotional control and all that, right? Because that's, you need that. I mean, medicine is going to help, and we have the medicine. If medicine's available to you, use it if it works for you, right? But the thing with depression and anxiety that most people barely talk about is that not only the one that is affected by it is affected by it, their spouses, their significant others are highly affected by it too, whether they say something or not. It is not you, the client, that is affected only. It is your significant other as well. Your employer, your neighbor, your children, your mother, grandmother, grandparents, your kitty cats and puppy dogs, and the plants inside the house, and everything else is affected by it. And and then there is a common mechanism in between that there is a heaviness that comes with anxiety and depression. This heaviness, it's heavy. It's just like heavy, and it comes in both anxiety and depression. And oftentimes when people carry this heavy with them, it's kind of sort of they want their significant others to help with it. And they do the best they can, but they cannot fix it for you. And then they begin to lean on the other. And leaning, having you dealing with anxiety and depression and leaning on someone like a family member, it's very hard on them. And then you wonder why relationships break out. It's hard on both of you, right? It's not right or wrong, and who's got it right and who's got it, who needs more. It's not about that. So that's why here we are, the professionals, to help you not figure it out, but help you heal it the best you can. And this is not going to happen in a session or two, and probably not even 3, not even 10 sessions. A lot will happen. A lot will happen. But and depends on an individual. I mean, in my case, when I work with, let's say, American people, I get to the root of the cause a bit quicker than when I work with Romanian or Eastern European people, because I talked about it, the consciousness of the mentality and the consciousness of the Eastern European people is just so thick in tradition and superstition and the right and the wrongs of religion. And this is how things should be. And this is how people should behave. And this is how people should look. And a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? It takes a longer time to peel the layers of the onion with this mechanism of beliefs and values, right? So I hope I answered quickest to it for those who don't have patience to stay on more. But I'm gonna have Randy pitch in from his professional experience as a licensed clinical social worker, licensed psychotherapist, and a certified hypnotherapist to really give us your view on anxiety and depression and the misconception over hypnosis, and especially underline the Ericksonian hypnosis, which you're both trained in.
The main difference, to put it very simply, the main difference between hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and psychotherapy is in psychotherapy, the client does most of the talking. In hypnosis, the
Yes.
hypnotherapist does the talking.
Yes.
That's one of the very basic differences.
Yes. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when people talk about going to talk therapy, they're talking about psychotherapy, where a therapist is going to encourage a person to talk about what is bothering them, how they're thinking about it, how they're feeling, how it's connected, uh, what is it they want to change, what are their goals, how can they improve their life, and that kind of thing, and how can they get over the problems they're having or struggles. In hypnosis, the therapist, the hypnotist, just what you could, Carmen, you could chime into if you like, but you agree that when you're seeing somebody in hypnosis, you're going to do most of the talking
Yeah.
because you're going to induce. And some people like that. They want to be led to be able to deal with their problems. Other people come in and they want to talk. So if there's something I want to get off my chest, then hypnotist is probably not going to be the thing that will help. Now, hypnotherapy can help in talk therapy because it can help a person remove some of their barriers and not be as defensive and look at what's motivating them psychologically. But when that happens, the therapist is going to do a lot of the talking, and the subject is lay back and listen. So that to me is one of the significant differences. There's a lot of other differences, obviously, but that's the main difference.
Yes, yes, and the beauty with hypnotherapy is that we do talk about what's bothering you. We absolutely talk about what's bothering you, um, but not we don't go over and over and over as to re-traumatize. We talk about the gist of it, and then we guide you into a deep relaxation, and we take you out of tension into a guided deep relaxation which puts you into a focused awareness. And in that focused awareness, we invite your subconscious through the guiding of imagery. Imagery works for 99% of the people to to talk to you in a form of images, that which has been stored for so long. And then once the subconscious processes this through the form of images, some images might have meaning to you, some not. We don't rehash all that. But through every single session, there is some sort of clarity where a lot of blockages get released. Whether you, right, sometimes you're conscious of the blockages, or sometimes you're not, sometimes right away, sometimes a bit later. But um, releasing that and allowing the subconscious to express the symbols and the images, that because subconscious doesn't speak words, it just doesn't speak words and numbers. The conscious speaks words and numbers. And this is the beauty of hypnotherapy. You don't have to rehash what's being wrong, and then all of a sudden you find yourself, it's like you peel the layers of the onion, and you peel one layer and another and another and another, and some layers are dry and some layers are not, but eventually you're going to peel all the layers, and then you're going to get to the core of who you are. And I keep telling people who you are is the love that you are. But a lot of people cannot agree with that. I mean, they kind of sort of something, they never heard something like that, and it cannot process through it. What do you mean I'm the love that I am? Well, yeah, the love that you are. So then, if you are the love that you are, how are you going to behave? How are you going to think? How are you going to talk? How are you going to dress? How behavior, what is your processes going to be once you are the love that you are. And to arrive to all that, it takes a little bit of a time. And at the moment to which you become the love that you are, there's no more blaming anybody. There's no more criticizing anybody. Is accepting that shit has happened, and sometimes it might happen again. It's just bad weather, right? Or bad socioeconomic circumstances, right? Um, but just I've seen some tremendous shifts, and I have this. Randy, do you want to add something before I go on?
Uh, the only thing I would say add is that uh, a, hyp- a hypnotherapist is probably going to do a mixture of talk therapy and hypnosis.
Yes.
But a person going to a therapist is going to know what's going on. A qualified, certified, licensed professional is not. It will never try to put somebody in a trance without their awareness. They're going to say, "Okay, let's try some hypnosis, and let's start it now. And here's what's going to happen, and here's what I'm going to say, and here's what you're going to hear, and let's do it. We're doing it. I'm hypnotizing you now." Then say, "Okay, now it's over." So the idea that somebody can be hypnotized against their will, seeing somebody, is a big myth.
Yes.
And
Yes.
a licensed, ethical, and there are unethical people everywhere. But if you go to somebody who's certified in hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and licensed professional, if you want therapy, then you're going to be good. But if you're certified, make sure they're certified and they're trained in hypnosis, then they'll be good. And there's a lot, as you know, Carmen, there's tons of different ways to get trained in hypnosis. It's good to kind of research. Carmen and I have both been to this institute that is world known, worldwide, and anybody can Google it and see it's one of the most respected institutions in the world. So that's what you want to see when you're constantly. You want to avoid going to see somebody who learned hypnosis last weekend, and it's just and that's what they learned. I learned it, over a weekend last year, and now they're doing it.
Yeah. No.
There are a lot of people like that.
Yes, there are, and you will find a lot of people that might do guided meditation that they pretend to be hypnotist and hypnotherapist, and that there is a difference. There's benefits on all ends, but there is a difference. And you bring out such a good point. You are correct. We cannot hypnotize you against your will, and nothing will happen against your will. And even if you go into a deep state of relaxation, we are trained to watch your ideomotor responses. They are called ideomotor responses, and we'll watch your breathing, watch your facial expression, what your body moves, and how fast is your rate of breathing. And that's one of the reasons that hypnotherapy works very well over Zoom. And actually works even better, if you ask me, because you're sitting in your own environment at home, very comfortable. And then even once the session is done, you can continue to rest and even take a nap instead of abruptly coming out of the session and then having to drive to places. So I get a lot of results with online sessions, but every now and then face-to-face and in-person sessions are highly valuable. But you're right, Rennie. I cannot stress enough the fact that I will not hypnotize you against your will, and when you are hypnotized against your will, it's when you are controlled by fear, by portions of the media and certain people that tell you what the truth is. So when somebody is telling you what is the truth, this is the truth, they are proceeding to hypnotize you. When somebody constantly criticizes something and putting someone down, or whatever, either they're constantly criticizing or they're constantly crying about the victim, they're hypnotizing you. because they're using neural language, which is the neural language comes into, and it's going to trigger a response from you. And this is where emotional intelligence comes in. And instead of you being triggered by a reaction, instead of having a reaction, then you can choose to have a response. And
there was a big popular movie just came out. I actually saw it called The Batman, and in that movie, it's 3 hours.